What's happening, financial coaches? It's Pete here. I want to answer a specific question that I received, and that is, can my client who is not residing legally in the United States open financial accounts? And the answer is yes, they can, with some caveats. I have certainly worked with people who are not here on the most legal of grounds. I have certainly worked with people here on various kind of legal but non-permanent statuses as well. You can have people here on work visas and student visas. You can have people on green cards. You can have people that are working towards citizenship and naturalization. You can also have clients that are working for cash under the radar, and they don't really have any of the documentation that they are supposed to have. This is fairly common, and depending where you live, it might be more commonplace than others. And here in Chicago, I've come across a bunch of them. And so one of the things that when I've worked with people that are maybe in these situations, the question invariably comes up, hey, I've got a lot of cash because I don't want to go to a bank. I didn't want to raise red flags. I didn't want to try to invest, right? I mean, there are a lot of things that a lot of these people want to do, but they're afraid about doing it. Now, I would say the climate has changed since I have generally worked in depth with some of these people, right? So there are more avenues to doing these things than there ever have been. However, I would say that the one that sticks in my mind is I had a Guatemalan citizen who was working here for cash, wanted to start doing some investing, not hardcore investing, but putting some money away, money markets, mutual funds, those types of things. And you might have to reach out directly to some fund families, so some companies, some investment companies, those types of things, and see who's willing to take that on. But, actually the first company I reached out to was willing to do it. They had a specific process, and basically you just take the application as you would on anything, and in the place where you would generally put like their social security number or USID and things like this, we just had to provide the identification for their country of official residence. So in this case, he had a Guatemalan passport. He was able to use that. We've got the account open. Now I would say that in most cases there is language in these contracts where, if something were to happen that shouldn't have happened because someone was here, the investment company is not going to take responsibility for that. They will certainly cooperate with any authorities should they request it. But in some cases, other than maybe the address on the form or whatever, they don't know if they're here or they're just a foreign investor. Someone who lives in Mexico or lives in Liechtenstein can certainly open accounts other places. Americans open accounts all over the places. Caymans, Switzerland, Canada. I mean, you can have money all over the place if you want. So, it doesn't really matter. And for my experiences, most of the investment companies, most of the companies that I reached out to were happy to do it, and they just said, hey, in this section, this is what you need. We need, legal identification. Sometimes a driver license will work from that country of residence or whatever it might be, but it wasn't a problem in most cases to get people who were not citizens of the United States that you might be working with the accounts that they need. And so certainly like a bank account or something like this, and in my case, one of the reasons that I wanted to do this was my client at the time had been working for a while, was living with his family. There were a number of people in the household. There were people coming in and out. The kids had friends. The grandparents had friends. There were people coming in and out. And he had basically his entire net worth in cash in a lockbox in his bedroom. And so, whether it's a fire or a robbery or sticky fingers or whatever it might be, he was running a risk that he would be wiped out in a moment. It's not just a situation where, someone would indemnify him on that, replenish his supply. His life work was sitting there for the taking, as even though he was doing as best he could to secure it, he wasn't living in a super nice neighborhood or a low crime neighborhood, in fact, or anything like that. So getting some of that money out of his possession into a place where it was at least more protected, where he could monitor more, where he could potentially get some earnings on top of his initial contribution there, were all certainly benefits. So just wanted to address that because it came up that the person is working with someone who is asking that same question, and yeah, you can do it. Just I would reach out to some of those companies, explain the situation in as much detail as you can, so that they know exactly what's going on, and they will probably be able to tell you, one, yes, we can do it, and here's how to do it. Or if they don't want to do it, that's their prerogative too, and they might say no, and then you can just move on to the next company. So I've certainly done it. It's certainly possible. All right, hopefully that helps. See you later.